that's crazy. Okay, this one goes out to all the VTuber agency fans. Am I the asshole for taking a nepotism baby joke too personally? At our family New Year's Eve get-together, the topic of nepotism came up. I'm assuming it's something on top of some people's minds as a result of the New York Magazine cover. What? As a result of the New York Magazine what? Chat context? People read magazines still? People read magazines still, dude? What? Times Magazine? What was Times Magazine cover? NPC moment. Yeah, NPC moment. Yeah, they're the asshole for reading New York Magazine. They are. I agree, Roly-Poly Games. I agree. What's a magazine? I don't know. It's some form of like archaic means of communication, I think. It used to be like Twitter. Just as terrible. Just as full of assholes. I, 27 male, had seen some buzz about it online. What? But I can't say I'd given it much thought myself. What? Where? Funny mustache man was person of the year. Hitler? Hitler was Time Magazine person of the year? What? Yes, no, you're fucking with me. You're fucking with me. Yeah, he was? No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't, chat. What? Okay. Stalin? What? Back in 1939, you assholes! 1939! Who the fuck cares? 1930! We're talking about this year, bitches! Oh my god. Chat, you're so annoying. Of the year wasn't supposed to be an award, just an acknowledgement of the movers and shakers. Whoa, context is very different now. Okay, the number of celebrities I care about is a small one, and there's a good chance I don't know anything about their family tree. Who? Who? Because of lack of interest, I didn't participate in the initial conversation. The topic was brought up by my brother-in-law's wife, and I listened for a while before turning to a conversation with my husband. Okay, so your husband's brother's wife. Okay. After a few minutes, my brother-in-law's wife said something along the lines of, I want to know OP's thoughts on this since he is a nepo baby. It was said somewhat jokingly, but I was still confused and I asked her to explain. She said that since I worked for my dad and was basically handed a job when I graduated, that I was technically a nepotism baby. What? I replied that it was a little ridiculous to group me in with actors and models making millions on their parents' name when my husband and I were just regular people working to support ourselves and each other. She said it was beyond just regular people working to support themselves when I made... Oh, she brought money into it. Oh. I thought the whole thing was wildly inappropriate to be discussing in front of all these people, and I told her so. She said that it was a joke and I was overreacting. The atmosphere was obviously a little tense following that, and she all but forced my brother-in-law out the door before the night was even over. There were mixed feelings after she left, with people saying I took the joke personally and people saying she went too far. Am I the asshole? No, she's the asshole. What? That doesn't seem like a joke, chat. That feels like... Oh. That sounds like somebody's a little salty-alty. Holy shit. Somebody's dad wasn't able to give them a job or whatever, and like bringing money into it? Yeah, that's not a joke. Yeah, that's catty. That's catty as hell. That is not a joke. That doesn't feel like a joke. This is kind of weird. This is kind of weird, I feel like. I feel like the sister-in-law's the asshole. Like, it's one thing to make an awkward joke and be like, oh, well, you're also a nepotism baby, right? Because that's kind of like a rude thing to say just on its own. But then to like follow, well, actually, you make a shit ton of money. If a joke flops, let it die, yeah. What is a nepo baby? So nepotism baby. Nepotism is when like, you're OP basically. So basically like when your family or your friends have a business, or they have like opportunities, and instead of considering the most qualified person for the job, they hand it over to somebody close to them, which is kind of like a touchy subject right now. I don't know why everybody's so up in arms about it. I feel like it's a little annoying, right? It's a little annoying. Like, say you're applying for a job. See, like, okay, VTuber agencies are like this, right? VTuber agencies are like this. If I applied to a VTuber agency and I didn't know like anybody in the industry or anything, and I didn't have like connections or whatever, it would be harder for me to become like to join a VTuber agency because they ideally want people who all get along with each other, and generally the people who tend to have experience in some fields that like these agencies are looking for were already friends with other people in the field because they already did all the networking. They already got to a certain point, right? So it's kind of like a blend of how a meritocracy works and just how like networking works. You can end up with nepotism in VTuber companies. But this person, that doesn't apply in a family business. I don't feel like it applies in a family business. And just in general, I don't understand it. People, like, I remember people were going real hard on, like, Walmart for this, right? People were going off on Walmart. They were like, oh my god, the guy who owns Walmart is giving everything to his children. He's, like, hiring his children and giving them all this shit. And blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, yeah, no shit, you fucking idiots. Those are his children. What is he supposed to do? Build a business and then give it away? What? It doesn't matter if somebody's more qualified, right? Like with these family businesses, you own a comic book store, chat. You own a comic book store, and you eventually get married, and you have children, and you are now faced with, do I hire my child to work in my comic book shop, or do I hire some random other person to work in my comic book shop, even though my child might need a job? No shit, you hire your kid. Are you fucking kidding me? Or like if you run a comic book shop and your friend needs a job. Yeah, buddy, I need somebody to stock the shelves at my comic book store. Why don't you come work for me? How is that bad? Yeah, imagine not hiring your kid. Your kid needs a job and you're just like, nope, sorry, I don't believe in nepotism. Pippa supporting child labor, yes. Yeah, you can underpay your kid. You can underpay your kid and treat them poorly, and they have no recourse. You can't do that with a normal person. Nepotism just makes financial sense. The time where it's like a dick move, right? You're training somebody else to work in your business, right? It's like a very like skill-intensive job or whatever, and you're like, yeah, you are my apprentice, and I'm teaching you everything, and you've been working here for 60 years, and now my child comes along, and now they own the business because they are my child. That does feel like shit, but also like, come on, you didn't expect that? You didn't expect that, dude? Come on. Not the asshole. She was out of line. However, she was correct. Your situation is definitely nepotism. It doesn't just apply to celebrities. Who cares? While she was an asshole for bringing it up and pushing the conversation when it clearly made OP uncomfortable, it genuinely baffles me how OP justifies and excuses the nepotism in his own situation. He doesn't make millions, so therefore being handed a job by his father isn't nepotism. What? 5.8k upvotes. You fucking... Oh my god. It's pretty obvious nepotism has negative connotation. I mean, that's the way it is. I can't blame him for not wanting to be called out like that. Completely inappropriate. OP, not the asshole.
I mean, yeah, it has negative connotations. That doesn't mean it's not true. He wants the benefits of nepotism, but not to acknowledge them because it sounds bad. I get that it's not great dinner party conversation, so she was a bit tactless to keep pushing it. But he still tries to claim it's not nepotism in this post. It's obviously nepotism. He could at least acknowledge that and say how grateful he is to have the help. He could have easily redirected the conversation that way instead of taking it personally.
Okay, distribution 7530. I think it's kind of cringe, you know, that you're not accepting the fact that you're a very privileged member of society, being able to go on Reddit and post and customize your avatar and everything. Is your avatar dressed like a male? Are you a male? Oh my god. Okay, distribution, you know, you should really acknowledge the fact that you're a male, and in this situation, you know, you have a lot of privilege that comes with being somebody who is hired more potentially or whatever, get pays more, whatever the fuck you're supposed to say in this situation, blah, 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 blah. Like, I mean, come on, Opie, you're kind of attacking somebody when you don't know their situation, when you've already, you know, benefited from societal privilege, blah, 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 blah. Alright, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking idiot. You're so fucking stupid. You are so fucking stupid, dude. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. Academic Snow's comment. I agree with you. This topic came up during my New Year's party and we acknowledged our own privileges and nobody was acting like they hadn't been handed advances in life while still acknowledging certain disadvantages. All fate is totally overreacting. Well, aren't you special? Virtue signaling at the goddamn dinner table for fucking New Year's Eve. Aren't you so fucking humble? La-di-da-di-da, bitch. Holy... Oh my god. Did you see? Sisters, did you see who was on the cover of New York Magazine? Oh my god. You know, I recognize that as a white woman in society, you know, I've had so many privileges handed to me. And I just feel like, you know, it's just not wrong for me to, like, go after other people for their situation. And I feel like we should make a very big deal about pointing all this out. I feel like if we're not making this a prominent point of discussion, you know, like if we're not really discussing this and beating ourselves down and being like, oh my god, I'm so... I was given a job when I was 13 by my dad! I had the door held open for me to the elevator one time when I was going up to my apartment! Oh my god. One time, they were picking kids for the sports team and because my parents fed me properly and we had the money to feed ourselves, my muscles had developed, and so I was picked over Susie Q, and I think about that every day, and I just feel like annoying. Please stop. Please stop. You know what? Do whatever you want in your own home. Do whatever you want in your own fucking home. I guess. Oh my god. You guys are so annoying though. OP didn't acknowledge his privilege. Kill him. I don't know. OP makes it sound like nepotism was already the topic of discussion. If the group wasn't already put off by the topic, I don't think it makes brother-in-law's wife an asshole to ask for OP's thoughts on something he clearly is. There's so many things. There's so many ways I want to go with this. Ah! Should have started talking about. Oh no. You know, should have started talking about. You know what? OP by Reddit logic should have just redirected the conversation to talk about cock-sucking horse, and then ask brother-in-law's wife how it feels to be a cock-sucking whore, or maybe talk about people with no social skills and people who make obvious jabs at other people, and how annoying and pathetic they are, and how they should really just learn to shut their fucking mouth instead of being such an annoying twat. And then when he asked brother-in-law's wife what her thoughts on the situation were, and she said, well, why are you asking me? Just say, well, you asked me about nepotism, so I figured we were just addressing our own personal faults. If OP was contributing anything to the conversation, I would agree their situation would be relevant. However, given that they were not actively engaging with the conversation, there was no need to try and drag them into it. Especially not starting on the grounds, hey, you are part of this negative thing. What do you think of it? It's rude. Oh my god. God bless you. God bless you, Quaid. Oh, fucking hell. OP wasn't interested in this conversation, and while I disagree with them about nepotism, I don't think there was any justification for this joke at their expense. Thank you. Thank you, Quaid. Thank you. Jesus. Fucking some common sense. Like, she is so obviously... They're focused on the semantics. The brother-in-law's wife is a bitch. OP is not an asshole. Fuck you.
Everybody, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Low Effort Clips. That's right, Low Effort Clips. Right here on YouTube.com. Yeah, and hit the notification bell.